Hey everybody, Teresa here from Inspiration Cards, and I'm back with our third card for this month's Stamp Jammies online card class featuring the A Good Man stamp set. I hope you've been liking the cards so far, and we have one more next week. But in the meantime, let's flip this around and show you what we're crafting for today. So here's this week's card, and what you're going to need from your class supplies stash is going to look a little something like this. So you're going to have a half sheet of Night of Navy. So it's just a half sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. You'll also have a 1 by 4 inch of Night of Navy cardstock as well. And then you'll have 3 pieces of Very Vanilla. So I'm switching it up this week. So instead of basic white, I wanted something a little bit softer. So I'm using some Very Vanilla. So you'll have 2 pieces that are about 1/4 of a sheet of Very Vanilla. So an 8.5 by 11 sheet and cut into quarters. And then you'll also have a piece of Very Vanilla that's been cut out using one of the Stitched Rectangles dies. All right, so I'm going to set these off to the side. And let's start by folding our card base in half. Let me just grab my bone folder. Here we go. Gotta have that nice crisp clean fold. I don't know what I did before I had that. So there we go, there's our card base. And so the 2 pieces of Very Vanilla, the large 2 pieces, are the same size. So grab whichever one you want. This one's going to go on the inside of your card base. So you can stamp a phrase, or in my case, I just stamped a little heart, which leaves lots of room to write a handwritten note. I'm going to actually stick with that this time around. You can do the same thing, or you can add in whatever phrase you would like on the inside. So I'm just going to mount this up on my block. Let's ink this guy up. So just tap that gently on top. Okay, and that's going to go down in that bottom right-hand corner. There we go. Okay, so let's set that aside to dry. And grab your other piece, your other large piece of Very Vanilla. Now this piece is going to go on the outside, and I thought it'd be kind of nice to stamp one of the larger phrases. So this one is, being a good dad starts with being a good man. All right, with Father's Day around the corner, you know, this is such a nice phrase to use. All right, there we go. So again, just going to ink up my stamp. Go. And this is going to go towards the top right hand corner. So not right in the corner, but you do want it up there. There we go. All right, let's give that some time to dry. And let's grab that strip of Night of Navy cardstock, and we're going to do something a little bit different today. Grab a scrap piece of paper here. So I'm going to tuck that under. And I'm going to grab my Stampin' Spot. You can try this with your full-size ink pad too if you like, but I like doing this with the Stampin' Spot just because it's a little bit smaller, and so you'll get a little bit of a different design on it than you would if you used a full-size ink pad. And so I'm just going to gently kind of tap that and rotate the ink pad around my strip of cardstock. So almost like creating your own little bit of designer series paper. Here we go. All right, so I'm gonna set that aside to dry because we're gonna cut a little triangle out of the end of that in a minute to create a banner. And definitely don't need super inky fingers. Inky fingers is inevitable, but how inky they get, that is completely up to you. All right, so I'm going to grab this image of the man carrying their child. Such a pretty image. So nice. Now I actually haven't done with these series, I haven't done any coloring with with these cards. But this is a great stamp set for those of us like me who love to color. So whether you're using Stampin' Blends or watercolor pencils, like this set is great for that. There we go. Okay. All right, so that's it for our stamping. So let's set that aside for a minute. And I'm gonna give that little strip of cardstock a little extra time to dry. So I'm gonna get to some sticking here first. So I'm just gonna grab my Stampin' Seal. You can grab whatever your go-to is, whether it's just a tape runner or liquid glue, whatever it is. And so you're just gonna stick that on the back of that first piece of Very Vanilla that we stamped. So this is the piece that's gonna go on the inside of your card base. There we go. Just like that. All right, and before we get to this piece here, I'm gonna grab that strip of Night of Navy that's been nicely patterned, and I'm just gonna grab my paper snips. Now there are some punches out there that will actually help you do this. I find a little trick is I find the center of where I want my banner to go, and I'll just cut to the point where I want it to peak. And so from there, onward. Makes it a little bit easier to get those sides a little more even. I know that's something, until I started doing this, was a little tricky sometimes. Sometimes my banners would come out looking a little lopsided. There we go. Cut that. There we go. Trim that little extra piece off. All right, and this is just going to go down along the bottom, starting on that left-hand side. So again, just grab your tape runner or your liquid glue, whatever it is that you use, and just stick that along the bottom. Now the other piece that you'll have that I didn't show you earlier is a piece of linen thread. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a nice little strip of Stampin' Seal right on the back. I'm going to just, oops, there we go. Stick that right on there. And I'm going to wrap this around 3 times. And so that strip helps keep everything in place. There we go. And I can grab my snips again. Here we go. Just like that. All right, and so I've already got a little bit of adhesive right there. So let's just finish off around the edges. All right, so this is going to go on the outside of your Night of Navy card base. There we go. Go, and our nice little stamped image is going to go right there on top with just a few dimensionals. I'm going to put one in the center. This is a longer piece of cardstock, so I want to make sure that I don't end up with my cardstock kind of dipping down in the center. Here we go. And there you go. All right, now I do have another sample to show you guys. Now this time around, it's actually not the A Good Man stamp set, which sadly has retired. So there is a new favorite of mine anyways, masculine stamp set in the new annual catalog, and it's the He's All That stamp set. I just love it. It's got such a nice variety of images and phrases, and I'm having a lot of fun crafting with it. This is actually one card that we made at my recent annual catalog launch party, and so you can see there's a few different images to use. This is actually using the coordinating die, so almost gives you like a little bottle cap effect there. And then I've also used some of the layering vellum designs from the January to June mini catalog. So there you go. I hope you liked this week's cards. And like I said, I'll be back next week to share one last card featuring the A Good Man stamp set. Now, for the rest of the month of June, I'm going to be sharing some cards using the Hello Ladybug stamp set. This is such a cute stamp set, and I can't wait to share some projects with you guys, so I hope you'll come back for that. In the meantime, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer any and all of your questions about card making, scrapbooking, Stampin' Up, or just paper crafting in general. So drop a comment below, or you can email me at inspirationwiththeresa@gmail.com. You can also check out my other projects and things that I share on social at Inspiration Cards on both Facebook and Instagram. You can also check out other projects I share on my blog at inspirationcards.com. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon.